Thanks so much, Steve. All right, in recent weeks, attacks targeting Christians in predominantly Muslim nations are on the rise. On New Year's Eve, 21 Christians were killed when a church was bombed in Egypt. And in October, more than 50 Iraqi Christians were killed, and another 60 were injured when terrorists stormed a Catholic church in Baghdad. So is it time for the U.S. to step in? Joining us for a fair and balanced debate is Nina Shea, the director of the Hudson Institute's Center for Religious Freedom, and Doug Bando is a former special assistant to President Ronald Reagan and a senior fellow at the Cato Institute. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Allison.
Hello.
Doug, let me start with you. This is obviously a very troubling trend. What can the U.S. do?
Well, it's a hideous problem. The U.S. unfortunately has very limited influence here. It has a lot of issues with these countries. Iraq, the Bush administration was ill-prepared for this, did very little when we had troops actively patrolling. Now we can open our borders and let people come to America, but we don't have a lot of clout with these countries to try to force them to treat these people better. It's a problem across the Middle East and in a number of Muslim countries.
Nina, is that right, what Doug says, that all we can do is open our borders to these refugees?
I think there's more we can do, and one is sharing intelligence. We do that with our allies in Western Europe. Apparently the cops in Egypt did not understand that they were being targeted, although it was on open source sites, Al-Qaeda websites, and there must be some kind of chatter and intelligence intelligence is picking up. So we can share that. We can give further aid. Refugees in Damascus from Iraq, Christians are prostituting themselves. Literally, the women are prostituting themselves to feed their children. We have to give greater aid, work with the government, end the impunity. These Christians have been massacred and killed since 2004, targeted because they're Christians, and no one has gone to prison in Iraq because of it. There are no policies by the United States directed particularly to help these Christians. As violence is going down overall in Iraq, it's going up for the Christians.
Doug, is there a fear that at some level this becomes a religious cleansing?
Well, sure. I mean, if you look at Iraq, I mean, the common estimate is half the Christian community has been dispersed. The numbers could be higher than that. I mean, Iraqi Christians have been forced out of their own country. This is a faith that predates Islam there, and we see the violence elsewhere. The number of Christians in the Holy Land is down. We see, I mean, the numbers are down in many places.
So then, Doug, why can't the U.S. step in? I mean, if it's at that level, why can't the U.S. step in and do something before it becomes an extinction?
Well, see, I'd love to know what that is. I mean, we tell the Iraqis they have sovereignty. U.S. troops no longer patrol the country. I'd like to believe that Prime Minister Maliki cares about this, but my guess is he's far more concerned about holding power, and quite frankly, taking care of Christians there is not going to help him hold on to power. So our options are very limited. I wish we had better options.
So, Nina, what is the answer? Doug's looking for the solution.
We can start by warning the Christian leaders of threats against them when we pick them up on our intelligence or on open sources. We can give aid to those who have fled to other places in the region like Damascus. We can accelerate our refugee program for those who have already left the country and offer them group asylum. Okay. But this is a religious cleansing, and it is a security threat for the United States, not just a sentimental or human rights issue.
Okay, Nina Shea.
These are the forces of moderation. Thank you.
Nina, thank you. And Doug Bando, thanks so much for coming in for this debate. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Brian for what's coming up.